Welcome to Android Video Lesson Shorts Edition. My name is Sebastian Colbert, and in this lesson we'll learn about WebView. WebView allows you to display web pages inside your app. They can be served either from the internet or locally from your device. WebView does not include all of the features of a fully developed web browser. By default, all that it does is show a web page. Creating basic WebView is quite simple. First, in your XML layout, add a WebView element. Then, in your activity, apply the layout containing WebView to your content view. You can now retrieve WebView from the layout. As a last step, create a default WebView client and specify the URL to load. None of the WebView code will work unless you grant your application access to the internet. To get internet access, request internet permission in your manifest file. WebView also supports loading web pages directly from Android's asset directory. If one does not exist under your main directory, you can create it. Place any HTML, style, or JavaScript files in that directory. For example, to load file local.html inside WebView subdirectory, specify the location, parse it out, and load it. If the web page you load uses JavaScript, you must enable JavaScript in your WebView, since it is disabled by default. You can enable it through the web settings object, which is attached to your WebView. Retrieve web settings with getSettings call. Then enable JavaScript with setJavaScript enabled. It is worth noting that the web setting object also provides access to many other useful settings. With JavaScript enabled, interface can also be created between your application code and JavaScript code. This interface will work with both local and server-based web pages. The first step is to define the interface by creating a simple class and adding JavaScript interface annotation to the method you want to expose to the WebView. To bind this interface between your JavaScript and Android code, call addJavaScriptInterface, passing it the class instance and an interface name that your JavaScript can call to access the class. The JavaScript can now invoke the exposed native method. Also, there's no need to initialize the Android interface from JavaScript code. The WebView automatically makes it available to your web page. If you want more control over how a clicked link will load, you can create your own WebView client that overrides the shouldOverride loading method. For example, here the URL is parsed and checked if it matches a domain. If yes, the method will return false and the link will stay inside the WebView. Otherwise, the link will be opened in an external browser. WebView will collect a history of visited web pages. You can navigate backward and forward through the history with go back and go forward methods. For example, here is how you can override the device's back button to navigate backward. If there is a web page history, the canGoBack method will return true, and goBack will get called. Otherwise, back button will behave as usual. Equally, you can use canGoForward to check whether there is a forward history. That is all for this lesson. Visit androidvideolessons.com/shorts to get access to source code for this and other lessons. I hope you enjoyed this lesson, and I wish you happy coding.